Can the two neighbors ensure stable ties, or are they headed towards deeper strain?
And while India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, has announced a major organizational reshuffle, the big names, the messaging, and what it reflects about the party's future strategy, we get you all about it.
But first, let's begin with all that has been happening in the Iranian war in our segment, Global Pulse.
Well, let's tell our viewers what has been happening after the 60-day deadline has expired today. Eric, talks between United States and Iran remain at an impasse. The 60-day deadline for both the countries to negotiate has also come to an end now.
The memorandum of understanding is yet to be fully implemented, but amid the uncertainty, both Tehran and Washington are releasing a swarm of statements which convey more confusion than clarity. Trump has once again restated that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, but as the deadline to discuss the memorandum of understanding passes, the US president has not given a statement on other demands and conditions which were under negotiations.
Just hours ago, Donald Trump posted a single-sentence statement on Truth Social, which stated, and I quote, "The number one goal is and always will be that Iran cannot have in any way, shape or form a nuclear weapon." However, just before this post, in an exclusive interview with the Fox News channel, the American president confirmed direct back-channel talks with Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. Trump also added that Iran should, quote, "raise the white flag of surrender." However, the American leader also went on to add that he is in no hurry to make a deal.
But time does not appear to be on Trump's side, especially amid reports of mounting problems on American warship USS Abraham Lincoln and depleting morale of US troops. Slow talks also give Iran time to replenish its war chest by continuing production of missiles and drones, and it seems that Iran, on its part, is not taking the bait after Trump's statements. A senior Iranian official has said that the country is considering a shift in its policy from defensive to a fully offensive one. Referring to the Strait of Hormuz, the official said that Iran will not wait for the United States to continue the blockade indefinitely. While Trump mentioned back-channel talks, Tehran maintains that the time frame set by Iran has been communicated to the US via mediators.
And that's not all. The official in question also said that Iran will be prepared to escalate tensions in Hormuz if diplomacy fails. As far as the Hormuz is concerned, Donald Trump has threatened Oman as well, saying that America will bomb the country if it gets in the way of an American deal with Iran on the maritime passage. The US president's comments come amid ongoing talks between Iran and Oman to reach an agreement on managing the key waterway. Uncertainty now reigns large over the future of these talks between United States and Iran. And remember, it was on the 17th of June that both countries had signed a 14-point-long memorandum of understanding. The key points include safe passage for vessels through Hormuz, Iran maintaining the current status quo of its nuclear program, termination of sanctions on Iran, and the release of Iranian frozen assets, $300 billion from US and regional partners for reconstruction and economic development of Iran.
And still talking about President Trump, but this is on Gaza. And President Donald Trump's Gaza peace proposal is facing a strong pushback from Israel. A ceasefire that was agreed on October 10th last year has failed to move on to the second phase.
While the ongoing ceasefire is also not complete, Israel, remember, controls more land in Gaza than what it had agreed upon. The IDF has been carrying out operations beyond its line of control in the war-torn Strip. The diplomatic efforts to bridge the gaps are underway. Trump's special advisor and executive member of Gaza Peace Board, Jared Kushner, met with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Board of Peace executives, Tony Blair and Nikolai Mladenov, also were present in this meeting.
Well, the huddle in Jerusalem comes after the same delegation held meeting with Hamas representatives and mediators in Egypt. Representatives from Qatar and Turkey also involved. During the meeting, Hamas chief Khalil al-Hayya made Kushner aware about Israel's ceasefire violations and agreed on the roadmap for the second phase of Trump's plan. Now the ball is in Netanyahu's court, who is facing pressure from his conservative allies. Just ahead of Netanyahu's meeting with Kushner, Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir made a controversial remark which can potentially derail any progress that the United States has so far pushed for.
Now, Ben-Gvir said that he disagreed with Netanyahu's decision to scale back Israeli strikes. He advocated targeted killings of 30 to 40 people in Gaza every night, saying the targets should not be limited to people posing an immediate threat. He also added that there are people there who are not worthy of life and called for their killing. According to Palestinian officials, Israeli fire has killed more than 1,250 Palestinians in Gaza since the ceasefire took effect. That averages to 4 killings daily in the last 311 days of ceasefire.
Ben-Gvir wants to scale this up tenfold. He calls it targeted killings. But a substantial part of the Gaza death includes non-combatants, especially children and women. Ben-Gvir's statement also has potential to impact Netanyahu's political future in the coming months. Israel heads to crucial elections this October. In popularity polls, the Israeli Prime Minister's ruling alliance is slipping behind former IDF chief Gadi Eisenkot's party. The latest controversy now raises questions. Will Israel's policy towards Gaza change Netanyahu's future in power? And that question is not just limited to Israel's domestic politics. It appears Hamas has also taken note. According to reports, Jared Kushner has advised Hamas leadership not to rely on the outcome of Israeli polls, stressing that Israel remains united in its political and military stance on the war-torn Strip.
According to the point 2 of Donald Trump's 15-point plan, Israel shall fully complete all remaining commitments under Sharm el-Sheikh Protocol, particularly the cessation of military operations. Now, Hamas should also abide by the same condition. But Israel has not just refused withdrawal to a predetermined yellow line, it continues to operate inside the yellow line. Over 60% of Gaza still remains under Israeli control. The foreign ministers of 8 countries have condemned Israel's rejection of the Gaza peace deal, a roadmap. The list of countries include Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Jordan, the UAE, and Indonesia. Israel, meanwhile, says Hamas must disarm before any Israeli withdrawal. On the other hand, Hamas says Israel must withdraw before Hamas disarms. This deadlock threatens Gaza's fragile ceasefire, especially when Benjamin Netanyahu's own minister is calling for an escalation and more killings.
From what is happening in Iran to what is happening in Gaza, and now what is happening in America. We're still talking about Donald Trump, by the way. Can Donald Trump run for president again in 2028? The U.S. Constitution says no, at least under the current rules.
But inside Trump's MAGA movement, the idea of a third Trump term is not going away anytime soon. Steve Bannon said that his team is looking at multiple ways to make it happen. In fact, Trump himself keeps teasing the possibility of it, even as he admits that the law is a major obstacle in it. And with the Republican support slipping ahead of the midterm elections this year, the third term talk could be more about than 2028.
It could also be a strategy to energize Trump's base in 2026. The date is January 20th, 2029. Steve Bannon says Donald Trump could still be president. That would mean a third term in the White House. There's just one major problem, and it's the Constitution. The 22nd Amendment, ratified in 1951, says no person can be elected president more than twice. Trump has already been elected twice. So under the current Constitution, a third elected term is barred. In a 2025 video that has gained renewed attention online, Bannon is not giving up on the idea.
We're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives that President Trump could run again and be president. And quite frankly, I think 4 or 5 of them are going to work. And I continue to say, as I told Bill Maher, on the afternoon of January 20th of 2029, Donald Trump's going to be president for his third term.
Well, Trump himself has repeatedly floated the idea. At the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner in July this year, Trump had claimed that he had won 3 times, including his false claim that he defeated Joe Biden in a rigged election. Then came the tease. When reporters recently asked Donald Trump directly whether he was serious about seeking a third term, his answer was considerably more cautious. Listen in.
Are you serious about taking a third term?
Everybody asks me that question, and you know that the law is very strong on that. I'd love to run, but the law is very strong. I get asked by well, even tonight, they're screaming at the event, 2028. Now, everybody wants me to do it, but the law is very strong. No, thank you very much, everybody.
Well, you just heard the president, what he said. That line may be the reality check. There are legal theories and potential workarounds that Trump allies have reportedly discussed, but they face serious constitutional and legal hurdles. Changing the 22nd Amendment itself would require a constitutional amendment, an extraordinarily difficult process.
So why keep talking about 2028? Well, the answer may lie in 2026. Trump's Republican support is showing signs of erosion ahead of the midterm elections in November this year. An Economist YouGov poll puts Trump's approval among the Republicans at 79%, which is down 12 points from January last year. And the drop is even sharper among Republicans outside the MAGA movement. Only 51% of non-MAGA Republicans approve of Donald Trump, while 47% disapprove of him. Other polls show the same broad direction. And Trump's political problems aren't just about personality. Remember, they're increasingly about pocketbooks. His administration is facing frustration over the economy and over the war with Iran. Gas prices have climbed from around $3 a gallon to more than $4, putting additional pressure on American households.
Republican consumer sentiment also fell sharply in August. That creates a political dilemma for Trump and his allies. The president cannot run for a third elected term under the current constitutional limit, but the idea of Trump 2028 can still keep his supporters focused on him. Well, you heard from the president that he says it's not for the law or it's against the Constitution to run for the third term. But you remember the president has been saying that he wants to run again in 2028.
That's right. So he's not giving up on the hope, Eric, even though the law doesn't allow it. Let's wait and see what the Republicans do and what his MAGA supporters do. Will they be able to change the Constitution entirely? We never know with Donald Trump.
We never know. But let's hear what Americans have to say. Susan Teherani is our reporter, is our correspondent in New York. She sent us this report.
President Trump is once again fueling speculations about the 2028 presidential race. Trump posted an image on Truth Social showing himself wearing a Trump 2028 hat accompanied by the message, quote, "We are going to win." The post prompted criticism from some Democrats and other Trump opponents who questioned whether or not he was suggesting another run for the White House. Trump has repeatedly raised the idea of serving beyond his current term, while also acknowledging the legal restrictions. Under the 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, a person cannot be elected president more than twice. Trump has not formally announced a campaign for 2028. Susan Teherani reporting from New York for WION World this one.
Well, from elections in the United States, let's talk about elections in Brazil, Eric. Election season is in full swing in Brazil. Two key candidates are vying for the top job, and both could not be any more far apart in age, in experience, outlook, and even international backing.
This race to power is between incumbent President Lula da Silva and his rival's son, Flavio Bolsonaro. On Sunday, both presidential candidates kicked off election campaigns from their respective strongholds. While Lula eyes a fourth non-consecutive return to power, Flavio will be looking to carry on his father, ex-President Jair Bolsonaro's legacy.
For the incumbent president, the stakes are high in terms of retaining the top post because, remember, it is his final campaign. Lula da Silva was seen addressing thousands of supporters in Sao Paulo, where his focus was on wooing Brazil's working class. It was a full-circle moment for the president, who had addressed thousands of workers from the same stadium back in 1979.
The 80-year-old's political journey spans decades. Brazil's labor movement was a pivotal moment in Lula da Silva's career. who was also the country's first working-class president. Now, after 3 non-consecutive terms, the incumbent leader has an uphill battle after his Workers' Party lost city elections in 2024.
Well, adding to his challenges is rival Flavio Bolsonaro. The Brazilian senator launched his presidential bid at a rally in Rio de Janeiro. Bolsonaro Jr. has shouldered his candidacy on the promise to crack down against crime in the country with a special focus on drug traffickers. The son of imprisoned former President Jair Bolsonaro, the 45-year-old lawyer is now giving tough competition to Lula da Silva, according to popularity polls. Take a listen.
Meu Brasil.
My Brazil, the current government is a government that fights with everyone, but fights with those who are far away, fights with countries that are 10,000 kilometers away from us, fights with countries on other continents. But the current government doesn't fight with cell phone thieves. The current government doesn't fight with drug traffickers, doesn't fight with rapists, doesn't fight with robbers, doesn't fight with murderers. I am going to fight for you.
Brazil's upcoming presidential elections in October have also witnessed growing interest from the US president. Trump has in the past been critical of Lula da Silva, especially for Jair Bolsonaro's imprisonment. Brazil's president has accused his American counterpart of, quote, interfering in the elections. On the other hand, Trump had met with Flavio Bolsonaro in May this year at the Oval Office. The US president has repeatedly praised Bolsonaro Jr., including at the meeting in Washington, where Flavio urged the United States to designate certain Brazilian criminal gangs as terrorist groups.
All right, moving on. Politicians, part of the opposition parties in Kenya, are holding a series of rallies in the country's Homa Bay County, demanding a political change from the current regime.
The protests come ahead of the general elections that is set to take place next year. The movement, called Linda Mwananchi, which means safeguarding the people, is being led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. The rallies have attracted a large crowd of supporters. Sifuna says that he will not support the William Ruto regime, which has been killing Kenyan citizens.
We have gone to the Western Kenya. There are no votes for Kasongo. We have gone to Masai land. We have gone to Kisumu, and there too exists no votes for Kasongo. I want you to tell us today, are there votes for Ruto here in Sindo? Is there any vote for Ruto? What say you, Sindo? Will you walk with us?
However, reports of violent attacks have also emerged in the ongoing rallies. Several young Kenyans have been involved in stone-throwing incidents, while also barricading roads to deter opposition leaders from holding rallies. According to reports, local journalists have also been allegedly attacked and robbed of their equipment. Ahead of the general elections in 2027, the Kenyan president, William Ruto, is facing increasing pressure to vacate his presidency from several opposition movements.
Well, 2027 is just around the corner, and Kenyans are willing to change their government because they say it is not effective. Let's listen to our correspondent Louisa Olani. She sent us this report from Lagos.
President William Ruto is facing growing opposition pressure ahead of the 2027 elections. On Sunday, opposition politicians held large rallies in Homa Bay County under a movement calling for political change. Big crowds turned out, but gangs of stone-throwing youth blocked roads and attacked journalists covering the event. Kenya remains tense as calls for change continue to mount against the current government. From Lagos, Nigeria.
Time now for some big stories coming in from Asia, and we begin with Bangladesh.
That's right. Bangladesh says that its Prime Minister Tariq Rahman's proposed visit to India is unlikely to go ahead unless New Delhi moves ahead with the extradition of the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and other fugitives that are wanted by Dhaka.
Now, according to a statement from the Bangladeshi Foreign Ministry, officials from both countries have been in contact for several weeks about the possibility of a bilateral visit by Rahman to New Delhi.
Well, Bangladesh's foreign ministry spokesperson said that the discussions had been affected by a public interaction involving Sheikh Hasina in New Delhi on the 5th of August this year. Bangladesh said Rahman's possible visit had been, quote, vitiated by Hasina's open press interaction in New Delhi, despite her conviction by Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal for crimes against humanity.
The centre made it clear that the press conference involving Hasina and Bangladeshi officials had nothing to do with the Indian government. India has previously said that its extradition request from Bangladesh concerning Hasina remains under examination.
Tariq Rahman was invited, despite Bangladesh not being a BRICS member, as a special guest in its capacity as a chair of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC. It was an initiative that many Bangladesh watchers thought would help reset the relationship that had hit turbulence since the July storm of 2024. They expected Dhaka to seize the moment to bring bilateral ties back on track, especially after the damage during the Muhammad Yunus era, and despite the new Bangladeshi Prime Minister departing from the diplomatic convention that had developed between Delhi and Dhaka to choose Malaysia and China over India for his first diplomatic visit.
Dhaka, however, continues to see things differently. This is political posturing of the kind that has increasingly come to define Bangladeshi politics in the past 2 years. Dhaka knows well the nuances and complexities surrounding the Sheikh Hasina issue, yet the turn of events is hardly surprising, given that Rahman increasingly appears to be riding the Jamaat bandwagon. Islamist elements are not merely being tolerated under the BNP government. They now appear to have been given leeway that in some respects competes with the access they enjoyed during the Yunus era.
Sheikh Hasina, remember, was removed from power back in August 2024 after a student-led uprising that grew into an anti-government movement. After her government fell, she fled to India, where she has remained. 2 people accused of killing political activist Osman Hadi were arrested by the Special Task Force of the West Bengal Police from the border town of Bangaon in March.
From Bangladesh, let's go to Korea. Korean Peninsula has for long been a battleground between communist North Korea, backed by Russia, China, and a capitalist democratic South Korea, backed by the United States.
But the geopolitical alignment seems to be shifting now, especially under Donald Trump. The U.S. president says that he gets along well with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. And owing to this, he has decided to scale down the military drills that were planned a long time ago.
In a Truth Social post, the president said, and I quote, "Based on the fact that it is too late to cancel, I have instructed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to substantially reduce the joint military exercises." The post came hours before U.S. and South Korea were scheduled to launch their annual Ulchi Freedom Shield exercise. The 2026 summer drills will run from August 17th to the 27th and focus on all domain operations, modern warfare threats like drones and cyber attacks.
This wasn't a well-coordinated, hey, we really need to lower the tensions, and South Korean position is changing, which gives us room to do it. This was a very hasty Sunday night decision on Truth Social that came out that really now causes a lot of angst in a relationship. That should be that the administration talks about being a model ally, and that the alliance talks about being ironclad.
Last week, North Korea warned that it could respond with a new level of deterrent to joint drills simulating battle against Pyongyang's troops. U.S. intelligence assessment revealed that China, Russia, and North Korea are developing advanced systems to increase or obtain a capability to strike American mainland. Donald Trump now says that North Korea has been under-threatening and, of course, respectful towards the United States. That's as per Donald Trump. At the same time, the U.S. president said that South Korea refused to participate in what he called denuclearization of Iran. Trump had called on countries like South Korea, Japan, and China that depend on oil transit through the Strait of Hormuz to send warships to secure the waterway. But no country has responded in affirmative.
The top U.S. Senate Democrat on military affairs has called Trump's decision insane and haphazard. Senate Armed Services Committee member Jack Reed said in a statement that China and Russia are watching how easily the Republican leader abandons his allies. U.S.-South Korea ties go back to World War II, when the United States and the Soviet Union divided the Korean peninsula along the 38th parallel. Then came the Korean Civil War during 1950 to 1953. The war did not conclude with a peace treaty. Instead, it was paused by the 1953 Armistice Agreement. Donald Trump's balancing act between North Korea and South Korea signals shift from decades-long strategic alignment. This is not the first time when President Trump has sought to end the exercises. During his first term, he issued a surprise announcement that called the war games provocative.
Trump also complained about the cost of maintaining American troops in the South. He wants Seoul to pay more for the 28,500 American troops that are stationed there. Remember, the United States also holds 5 major military bases in the country. So Trump's decision to scale down war games does not directly mean that the U.S. will provide less support to South Korea. It remains a key American ally in the region. But Donald Trump repositioning America's stance vis-a-vis North Korea is likely to alarm the South.
It looks like so much is happening in America, so much is happening in West Asia and also in Korea. You are watching Race to Power on WION World. Is one time now for a quick break. We'll be right back.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Check It Out at these times.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Check It Out at these times.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are watching Race to Power on WION The World.
Well, with that, let's shift our focus to India now and decode for you what all has been happening here. Well, the political row between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress over the alleged insult to the national song Vande Mataram has now intensified. The BJP is demanding an apology from the Congress leaders, including Sonia Gandhi. The Congress, meanwhile, has defended its position and called it the BJP's diversionary tactic.
The controversy erupted after BJP released video showing senior Congress leader Sonia Gandhi making physical gestures while Vande Mataram was being sung on Independence Day. BJP alleged that Congress Parliamentary Party chairperson Sonia Gandhi directed the leaders to stop the rendition midway. Congress strongly rejected the claim and called it a distraction tactic.
This isn't a distraction tactic, then what is it? So many years at the RSS headquarters and the national flag has never been hoisted. The tricolour has never been flown there. They don't take oaths in the interest of the country or in the interest of the Constitution. They keep searching for one issue or another to target the Gandhi family.
Well, the BJP has termed the incident as unfortunate and blamed Congress leaders of having a frustrated mindset.
The Gandhi family considers itself above the Constitution and the country, disrespecting constitutional institutions and the Constitution, as well as the national song, is unfortunate. The country will not spare them now.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah had alleged that while Vande Mataram was being sung at the Congress party headquarters, its leader Sonia Gandhi told the party president to stop singing. Congress leaders clarified that Sonia Gandhi was not trying to stop the national song and said she was gesturing for a chair to be brought for Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who had been standing for a long duration. Congress President also hit out at Amit Shah. Kharge said when he became MLA for the first time, Amit Shah was still a child, and today Shah is teaching patriotism. Kharge said the BJP and their ancestors never fought in the freedom struggle, so they should not teach patriotism to Congress.
Multiple complaints have been filed by the Bharatiya Janata Party and its youth wing, the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha. The Delhi police confirmed that they are formally inquiring into a complaint seeking an FIR against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. In fact, similar complaints were filed in Mumbai and Bengaluru as well. In Hyderabad, BJP's youth wing, the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha, held protests over the issue. Similar protests were held by the Dogra Front in Jammu. Let us welcome our guest on the show tonight. Mr. Shekhar Iyer is joining us on the broadcast. He's a senior journalist. Mr. Iyer, good evening. Welcome to WION. Can I start by asking you what you make of this entire controversy? I mean, what's the harm in singing the national song on the country's Independence Day when the government of the day has declared it as one?
Good evening, Shreya. Good evening, Irk. Well, this is a big political point because never before have we seen Sonia Gandhi, being caught in such an awkward situation where, from whatever account we have got, that in fact she was surprised that the full song was being played. When the Congress had been objecting to the full thing being rendered, right from the time when, the matter had first time it was sung in the Congress session and there was objection, and then Rabindranath Tagore had intervened and it was finally decided if in the party, if the Muslim leaders had objection to this portions of that the national song, which they believed was sort of promoting idolatry. So therefore, let us drop this. So this has been a controversy from that period. It is not now. But after the parliament passed the bill, because in the parliament, the whole thing was sung at the close of the session. And so here, this was an opportunity which the BJP would not let go. But this was also a situation where many Congress leaders who were present there and some of them who were involved in the arrangement, they started giving interviews saying that, look, the whole thing was to be done, we had to do it. But then internal inquiry has probably established that proper instructions were not given that only those that they should continue to follow the whole practice. And today we saw at a Kharge's function in Goa, only those first two stanzas were played. So obviously with the BJP, filing case, so I don't see how this matter can proceed further under law, because it would require more evidence and things like that. But then political messaging has been done. Of course, for the Congress is on back foot, because this is an issue in which it again stands accused of, more worried about its core voters or its so-called vote banks. Shreya.
Mr. Iyer, what can be done so that this issue can no longer be an issue in India? Because there is a back and forth between Congress and the BJP over Vande Mataram, and people really don't understand why this controversy keeps on recurring. What needs to be done?
Well, you see, for the political parties, they have taken a position that this hurts particularly Muslims, that who do not believe in describing India as Mother Durga or incarnation of Goddess Shakti. I mean, they cannot accept it because their religion forbids, accepting any other form as their God other than Allah. Now, on the other hand, BJP has been trying to, in election after election, we have seen this has been one of the strongest pitches of BJP, saying that, look, when it comes to national unity, when it comes to even a song like Vande Mataram, which was a kind of a song that inspired hundreds of workers who fought for the independence, Congress workers, be then Congress workers. So therefore, why compromise? Because there are some hardliners in a particular country who are pressurizing these parties, though they all profess in the name of secularism. So this debate has been going on. So I don't see where there can be a political compromise, because that is not a position that the Congress can take. Because for them, the minority vote bank is one of a very important base. Now, at the same time, there is, in the government functions, now that it is a law, so whether it is in parliament or in any function where the president or the prime minister would be present, or any of the dignitaries, we are going to see that it will start with the full rendering of the Vande Mataram. We saw it on August 15th from the ramparts of Red Fort, before the Prime Minister unfurled the national flag on the 80th Independence Day. We saw this being played. I think with elections coming, in 2027 and in the run-up to the next general elections, 2029, this issue is bound to stay, and you will see,
Mr.
depending
Iyer,
on the occasion, at least.
Yeah, Mr. Iyer, I know I'm talking about a very utilitarian situation, but wouldn't it have been a better situation where the Congress party would just rise above this and show themselves as a constructive opposition? The monsoon session has just ended. There you saw a lot of disruptions coming in from the opposition, while the government kept pushing for, a debate on whatever issue they wanted it on. Now you had another chance to say that, okay, we're rising above our differences and we are in this together, in the country together. We have our own issues and we'll resolve them within the parliament or otherwise.
Shreya, I agree with you. It would have been a prudent political course to not, particularly a sensitive issue like, the national song. And Vande Mataram particularly has a history, has served as an inspiration for millions of people who fought for independence of India from the colonial British. So, this is possible, but I don't see the present leadership of Congress party particularly, willing to concede on this ground, because they feel this would mean submitting to BJP's, version of things. So this battle is going to remain, though many Congress leaders have a different view. But I think the Gandhis, particularly Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi, their view seems to be, look, we must stick by our position, which we have adopted for a long time, that we are sensitive to the concerns of minority sections. So I don't see a Congress shifting its stand, but in public functions where Congress leaders will be present, whether it is parliament session, they will have to stand up, and they cannot do anything about it, because it's now the law.
Yes.
It's now the law indeed. Mr. Shekhar Iyer, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to us today.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Shreya.
All right, with that, from the Congress-BJP tussle, Eric, let's move to what's been happening within the Bharatiya Janata Party. Today, the BJP has announced its new national team under the leadership of Nitin Nabin. The team has been announced 6 months after Nabin was appointed as the BJP's national president.
In a major rehaul, Amit Malviya, the BJP IT cell chief, has been stripped of his responsibility. A decision comes in the backdrop of the Gen Z protests. With this, his 11-year stint at the helm of the party's digital communication has come to an end.
Chhattisgarh's Deepak Makse has replaced Amit Malviya. Remember, Makse has been active in organizational and media activities in the Chhattisgarh BJP unit. He's been associated with the BJP's IT cell in Chhattisgarh since 2009, and he served as a state spokesperson as well. In 2025, he was appointed as the chairman of the Chhattisgarh Medical Corporation. Before joining the BJP, he was a chemistry professor and agriculturist.
प्रायोरिटीज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बिल्कुल स्पष्ट रहती है कि जनता की सेवा के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी को चुनाव जीतना है और प्रण प्राण से सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से हम और हमारी पूरी टीम इसमें काम करेगी.
Union Minister Piyush Goyal has been appointed as the national treasurer, while Smriti Irani is back in the core team as the National General Secretary for Uttar Pradesh. Sunil Bansal has been named as the National General Secretary for Delhi. The party has named 13 national vice presidents, out of which 6 are women. The names include former Rajasthan Chief Minister, RSS leader, and Lok Sabha Member of Parliament. The BJP has named 16 national secretaries in its new team. Interestingly, that includes former AAP leader and Turncoat Sandeep Pathak, along with other BJP leaders like Anil Anthony and Rohan Gupta.
And while keeping with updates from India, fresh trouble has erupted for India's beleaguered National Testing Agency, or the NTA, after triggering massive Gen Z protests over the paper leak in pre-medical entrance exam NEET. The NTA has found itself in the eye of another storm now.
Now, in a fresh debacle, the agency has been compelled to order fresh UGC NEET exams for English, Commerce and Sociology after reviewing complaints about errors, repeated questions and translation issues. The UGC NEET exams are conducted to determine eligibility for assistant professor roles, research fellowships and PhD admissions to Indian universities. The NTA announced that the exams, which were initially conducted between June 22nd and June 30th, will be held again on September 9th and 10th, while NTA's move has created a fresh uproar over India's public examination standards. It has also given fresh ammunition to the country's opposition to target the government over repeated failures. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi took to social media platform X to lash out at the government. He said, and I quote, "Thousands of candidates who prepared for years, filled forms, paid the fees, traveled to distant centers, must now do it all again in September. MTA makes the mistake, but the student serves the sentence." Dharmendra Pradhan's resignations was the first step, not the last. NTA's leadership must be held accountable also.
Well, for the new Education Minister, Prahlad Joshi, this is now a case of baptism by fire. While Joshi did not really come out to counter Rahul's allegations, the Education Ministry posted an image of Joshi's review meeting with top officials into the functioning of the NTA. Now, as per the Education Ministry, several steps have been taken to address repeated NTA failures, including the removal of 50 staff from the agency, the creation of 10 new leadership positions, including the Chief Technology Officer within the NTA. Also, domain experts will be roped in from the private sector to strengthen cybersecurity challenges and question paper design. While the NEET paper leak gave rise to new pressure group in the form of Cockroach Janata Party, the latest blunder by the agency is set to negate some of Prime Minister Modi's efforts to reassure India's Gen Z, including his own mega outreach on Independence Day, where he had announced free online coaching for youngsters. The Prime Minister's outreach will be of little consolation for the 700,000 candidates who took the examination in June this year, and they will now have to go through the same cycle of anxiety over the next 3 weeks.
Let's now head to the south of India. Political temperatures are rising in Tamil Nadu. For weeks, it was the DMK and the AIADMK piling pressure on Vijay's TVK. But now, a fresh challenge has emerged. Former BJP State President K. Annamalai has leveled corruption allegations against TVK ministers, raising serious questions over Vijay's anti-corruption pitch.
Well, speaking at an environmental awareness gathering in Chennai, Annamalai first praised Vijay's anti-corruption stance. The praise was followed by allegations that Vijay's TVK government did not take kickbacks in major tenders earlier, but some ministers had now started demanding bribes.
Annamalai then stressed that he wasn't just making an allegation. He claimed to have audio recordings where ministers are allegedly saying that they spent money during polls and are therefore asking contractors for a share. The former state BJP chief then cautioned Chief Minister Vijay to rein in his ministers, or else they could undo his pledge to eradicate corruption in the state. Annamalai urged Vijay to hold regular weekend review meetings with his ministers.
Since coming to power in Tamil Nadu, remember, Vijay has made anti-corruption a key plank of his government. In his maiden Independence Day speech, Vijay reiterated his government's commitment to eliminating corruption, saying that his government is undertaking efforts to eliminate graft from all departments. Earlier, during a public rally in Tamil Nadu's Karur, the Chief Minister had issued a strong warning against corruption and had urged people not to pay bribes. Instead, Vijay suggested that if someone was forced to give a bribe, they should say that their brother Vijay is now ruling the state. Those remarks followed a directive from the TVK government asking all government offices and websites to display a WhatsApp number, an email ID and phone numbers for reporting complaints against bribery and corruption.
Even during the assembly polls, Vijay had consistently framed corruption as a major issue and promised a much cleaner administration if elected. However, within days of coming to power, Vijay's government battled charges of allegedly attempting to bribe opposition MLAs to switch sides. Both the DMK and the AIADMK accused the TVK of indulging in horse trading. While those charges haven't stuck so far, the issues raised by Annamalai have cast fresh questions on Vijay's anti-corruption pitch. The criticism this time is not from the usual opposition parties, but from someone who has described the TVK as a breath of fresh air in Tamil Nadu.
And therefore, the challenge for Vijay's TVK is no longer about taking on the DMK and the AIADMK. With Annamalai's corruption salvo, TVK now faces a new battle, one where silence can hurt and every response will be closely watched.
We're still talking about Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay has condemned the killing of 3 Tamil residents in an alleged firing by Karnataka Forest Department officials in the Kaveri Wildfire Sanctuary area.
While calling the incident a massacre, Chief Minister Vijay demanded a high-level investigation and action against those found responsible. He also said that the Karnataka government must provide all necessary assistance to the families of the victims and called for measures to ensure that such an incident does not happen again. The opposition too has condemned the incident in one voice. In a statement, DMK President M.K. Stalin called the killing of the 3 Tamils shocking and strongly condemnable. He alleged that the incident had occurred with no regard for human life. The former Chief Minister has now demanded that a murder case be registered and a transparent and impartial investigation be held to punish those who are responsible.
PMK President Anbumani Ramados has demanded a CBI probe and a compensation of 1 crore rupees for each family. CPI State Secretary Veera Pandyan has claimed that the 3 men were farmers who used to take their cattle into the forest for grazing. They had gone into the forest to search for missing cattle when they were shot dead. The party has demanded the arrest and dismissal of the forest officials involved and registration of a murder case. Similarly, CPM State Secretary has demanded the dismissal and arrest of the officials involved and urged Vijay's government to raise the issue with Karnataka.
Karnataka Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, meanwhile, has said a magistrate-led investigation has already been ordered and several witnesses have been questioned and evidence, including weapons and other items, have been seized. As per Shivakumar, officials recovered firearms and 2 bags containing meat, including that of wild animals. Forest officials suspect that the three men entered the forest illegally for hunting. The three deceased men were residents of Hanur in Chamaranjnagar district, and they have been identified as Anthony Sami, John Rose Peter and Kumar. The bodies have been sent for post-mortem examination now. The incident has put the spotlight on the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a highly sensitive and ecologically rich area between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The region faces persistent challenges with illegal cross-border activities, making it a heavily patrolled anti-poaching flashpoint for forest authorities.
Smugglers in the region routinely exploit proximity to both Karnataka and Tamil Nadu border to carry out illegal activities. Notorious bandit Veerappan's infamous Django fortress, Gopinathan, is located deep within the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. The region served as his primary hideout and operating ground. Veerappan routinely ambushed and killed over police and forest officials in that area.
All right, let's shift our focus now to Jharkhand, where protests are not dying down anytime soon. The eastern Indian state has been at the center of a youth-led movement triggered by state-level paper leaks. Protesters, which include students and job aspirants, have now given the state government a deadline of the 18th of August to accept all of their demands.
Demonstrators warn that if the Soren government does not accept the demands, they will proceed to surround the chief minister's residence on August 20th. Thousands have been on the roads of Jharkhand for 24 days now. Their key demand of a CBI probe into alleged irregularities in competitive exams is still a point of contention for the state administration. However, they have agreed to other demands of the students and have also invited representatives for further talks. The pressure continues to mount. Congress Party, which is an ally of the Soren government, has urged Jharkhand's chief minister to meet the protesting students. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has written a letter to Hemant Soren backing the students' demands as legitimate and asking Soren to personally meet the protesting youth as a step would help resolve their remaining concerns.
And now it's time for the verdict. The 60-day deadline between United States and Iran has ended today without an end to the war. This is not a failure of diplomacy. It's the human will unwilling to see anything beyond big egos. The world doesn't know where the war stands today. Is Peace President Donald Trump really arm-twisting Iran? Is Iran still managing to stand up to the United States? And in all of this, where is Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei? Well, there's honestly confusion and lethargy that the world is feeling now. And we all ought to know with crystal clear clarity when the world will see, feel and enjoy peace once again. Because every country is paying the price for this mindless war. Some through high fuel prices, some through food insecurity, and others by losing their loved ones in the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump entered the 60-day period demanding that Iran denuclearizes itself. Iran, on the other hand, wanted sanctions, relief, security guarantees, and an end to pressure tactics. Now, as these 60 days end, Iran suddenly says that the Memorandum of Understanding never really held value because the United States violated it. So should the world just sit and pay the price of two sides not willing to go beyond blackmailing? You see, the problem was never simply a lack of talks. The problem was that the two sides entered these talks with fundamentally different definitions of what would be an acceptable outcome. And mind you, this should not be mistaken as the collapse of diplomacy. Deadlines are mere political tools, even narrative building. But they do not magically resolve disagreements. There has to be a willingness to achieve peace. So what was the point of this deadline and what happens next? Because the deadline has expired and hopes have certainly dimmed.
And with the verdict, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power on WION The World is One. Thank you for watching. I'm Eric Njoka.
And I'm Shreya Upadhyay. Bye-bye.
what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Cola Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Take It Out at these times.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Cola Spa at home.
Robots sparring for a fight, not for entertainment or for sport. Surgical arms that can feel to give surgeons a sense of touch. Traditional warships are facing flotillas of unmanned vessels. The smartwatch is passé, smart bands are just as effective at monitoring health. Put a ring on it this week on Take It Out at these times.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Cola Spa at home.
Once a year, grown men in this city put on three-piece suits, or well, at least a blazer, in 40-degree heat and call it a good idea. This is the distinguished gentleman's ride. It happens on the same day in over 100-odd countries. And it started, of all places, with a photograph. A bloke in Sydney saw visuals of a television character, remember Mad Men, and thought, why don't men dress like that anymore? Men don't gather like that anymore. So he put it online, a few mates, nice clothes, old motorcycles. That was 2012. Today it is one of the largest motorcycle events on earth. And we'll get to this, it isn't really about the motorcycles at all. Motorcycling is about escaping things. It's about